Hi CP.
Hi, Pious.
New intro music we got today, courtesy of Chetna's flute.
Courtesy of me learning how to play the flute.
How has that been?
It's been, you know what? I have never learnt anything. I know that sounds weird.
What do you mean by that?
I've never learnt anything in a way that a course tries to teach it to you. I've always learnt anything in a way that works for me. Like, works for me sounds different than what I'm trying to convey. Convenient also sounds wrong. In a way that feels most in tune to who I already am,
Okay.
what I already am. It's like, if you just think of it, see, flute is obviously music, but according to me, everything is music. Not according to me, I feel even in these ancient wisdom texts, they'll talk about this, that everything is music, everything is rhythm, everything is vibration, everything is sound. And it is also said that the root of all sounds, Sadhguru says this, and I'm sure he's not the only one who says this, that the root of all sound is Om, and the root of Om is silence. So there's silence, then there is something on top of it, which is a vibration, which is then translated in different perceptive ways, meaning your eyes are translating it into a scene, your nose is translating it into a smell, your ears are translating it into a sound. But all of vibration is first a sound. Sound is not the right word. The word is nad in Sanskrit. A vibration that can be perceived as sound. I feel that is what nad must be, although I do not know the exact definition. I know the feeling of it. So, because I know the feeling place of things rather than, oh, this makes logical sense here, this is the right thing to do, because this X will lead to Y if you do this in between. So that is the right way of going about it, as suggested by your experts, because they've studied a certain sample size. I have not been able to learn like that ever. I have always only been able to learn intuitionally. So I do respect anybody and everybody that teaches me, and I've been very lucky in the last few years to find people that teach in the way that I'm also wanting to learn. I guess that's what that's what happens eventually. If you stick to one way of being, everything around that will develop in your life, and those people are also obviously manifesting students like me, I'm guessing. Otherwise it couldn't have come through this way. So I do not have this issue with the people that I call my teachers at this point, that they're trying to teach me in a set way and I don't want to learn in that way. I want to break free from it. They are teaching me in a way, in this way also. They are also wanting their students, or at least me when I am their student, to learn intuitively. They're not burdening me with a lot of knowledge.
So can you say a little more about that? Like, what does learning intuitively mean versus a different way of learning?
Well, let's say I'm learning the flute. What has it been, 2 months or so since I've been learning the flute, and what's happening? I was told that it takes a long time to learn the flute. That's not something that bothered me. I was excited about learning the flute, so I was learning the flute. Like, I had a calling from the flute to learn it. So first and foremost, it did not start as a, ओ चलो अभी फ्लूट सीखते हैं, तो फिर फ्लूट सीखेंगे तो फिर 4 लोगों के सामने फ्लूट बजाएंगे तो बड़ा कूल लगेगा. It wasn't. Learning the flute is not a means to an end for me. It may become so at some point. No, it may appear to be so at some point. That's a different case. What anything appears to be as bothers me very little. Or it bothers me, but I'm able to remind myself that this is just an appearance. But what it really is that it brought me all this joy, and I practiced and I learned like this, and I learned this about life from this. So one, why are you doing something? Are you to be any intuitive learning will be intuitive from the start till the end. It's not going to be intuitive in the middle. It can be, but I mean start till end intuitiveness. So I had a desire in between to learn tennis also, and I didn't go with it for no reason other than abhi bahut kuch ho raha hai that I'm learning. I'm learning to sing also. I've just started, so can't say learning, but I'm deepening my meditation also. I'm practicing with some new styles and methods of meditating that I've never explored before on my own, some of them alongside some people. Then drums is there, sort of a bit of stuff in music. Then I'm also doing a few other things. All of these things, when you are doing, so tennis was an intuitive thing that came, and then intuitively it came to pause on it. But it did not come as, hey, I want to lose weight, therefore let me do tennis, therefore let me reach out to that sir, therefore let me find out what the price is. Or it did not come as, oh, that person is doing tennis and I like how that person lives their life, so therefore. So why do you even begin to learn something? Is that intuitive from the beginning? Like even for you, are you learning the drums now for any reason other than the fact that you just felt like learning it, or are you learning it as a means to an end? I do not know the answer to this question. I'm not assuming the answer.
It's really to learn it. Like I don't have an end result at all.
You just have an attraction towards learning it. That's what a calling ends up being.
Like I don't have a second step. Like I don't have a next thing that I want to do with it. I just want to learn how to do it. I don't want to perform. I don't want to display to anyone that I'm doing it. I don't for me it's like there's other things I've done where like I've started running with the idea at some point that I feel like I put on weight right now. This is a good way of doing that. The running is a good way of doing that. So let me
reducing weight.
So let me I'll lose weight if I start running. Now that is I can see that distinct difference. There is an end point which that's exactly what I mean.
And you know how you felt when you started to run ever with those sort of intentions. You know how the journey was. The journey was filled with, oh, now I didn't run today. Now
I've eaten extra food also. Like a lot of other things then get like it becomes very mixed. The idea of what you're doing really.
Like even today, I had a Maunvrat, which is something that I will do once in a while. Most of the days nobody will know I'm doing a Maunvrat because I'll do Maunvrat does not mean just keeping quiet. To me, I don't know what it means to anybody else. I don't know if people do silent fasts ever. It's like, let's say you're doing a food fast and the whole day you're only thinking of food. You have not done a food fast. You may not eat a whole month, but if you're thinking of food, you've not done a food fast. Likewise, Maun Vrat to me means that I am not putting stuff out. My logical mind, my systems have gone into a silent mode. So I've done many varying kinds of Maun Vrats. Today I did a kind where it's not like I did not post something if I felt like that was ready, or that I did not go check a message from somebody. There are times when I would even switch off my phone. And even though I had said I'll do Maun Vrat today, at 4 p.m. I concluded it. Which is completely intuition based. I did not start it because I wanted to prove to somebody or to myself that I need to do it. And I did not end it because I didn't have anything to prove. So me ending it did not bring about any guilt or shame. Or if you're not doing a task for an outcome and the task itself is the joy that you are experiencing, then how that task molds is not a problem for you. And that is a freedom that honestly, through words, I cannot explain it. Through words, it cannot be explained. Only somebody who's truly tried it for themselves will get it. And somebody who cannot get it, I will highly recommend that they try it out. Do something for the sheer joy of doing it. Like, I realized today that we do during the time when I had Monvrat going on, when I say realize, it's not that I had a churning of thoughts in my head and then that churning of thoughts led to a conclusion. I don't mean that at all. I mean that through me a message shone through, and it was for me, and now I'm sharing it with people, but at that time I saw it as a message for me. And that was that everything that one does is so that they can be happy, so that they can be successful, so that they can be, basically be and ... You don't have to be anything. So that you are not disturbed from being. That's why you do anything. So what if you just did that, right? Now what happens is you end up making rules. You say, okay, for me to be happy, I need XYZ. For me to be happy, I need that. In the process of doing that, you forget that your ultimate goal was to be happy. I'm saying to be happy, but I don't mean to be happy. Understand that. Like, because happiness is of many natures. Happiness can also, relief can also be read by you as happiness. Because you are feeling a little better than you were feeling in the past, so you think this is happiness. That's illusion. That's not happiness. Actual, true happiness, bliss, that it is as it is and I am okay in whatever it is. There are no words for it, so you have to catch the feeling in between of what we're trying to communicate here.
Contentment.
The contentment is also a small word. The ease is a good word. The flow, the fact that you're not wondering that you're not happy, the fact that you do not have an opposite asking. You're in alignment. The alignment of life is what your goal is. Now you start to believe that for this alignment, I need to do 8 hours of work or school, this hour of breakfast, this hour of dinner, this hour of exercise, or even if you call it yogasanas, whatever you call it. The moment you try to regiment so many things, now it doesn't work. You could be disciplined and you could every day again, see, disciplined is also a heavy word. You could be able to do something every day at 4 o'clock for 4 a.m. for, let's say, a week, 10 days or a month. But if you are attached to having to do that so that you can feel happy, so that you can then do something, this you are now putting yourself in a very different sort of a trap, which may work for a few days. It's not like when you went to run that you couldn't run. You did run for a few days. It did take you from a certain state of emotions to a certain higher state of emotions. But I'm saying ultimately, if you keep playing this game, you're still just cycling. How do you pivot from this entire game of cycling? And that is to go back to saying that it's just do things for the right reasons, and the right reason to me is only one, which is if at this point you feel aligned to doing it. Oh, but we can't live our lives like that. That's because you've created a system. How can you live your life in like that if your entire system doesn't support living like that? You can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and the way out of that would be to start experimenting with something.
Must experiment. Like, you think that you're doing, I'm sorry if this offends anybody or if this awakens something deeper in somebody, then I'm glad. I'm saying it with the purpose to awaken something deeper in somebody, because I believe fundamentally we're all one. So if there are certain desires of freedom that I have, I believe those certain desires of freedom are there in everybody. Everybody wants to be free and wants to feel aligned. You think you are doing a lot of things with the things that you're doing in your life. Like you are almost frustrated and exhausted with the number of things that you're doing currently. I am not. Most people, I'm talking about most people over here. You're also not. Most people, 95% of the people we know, they're trying to stick to a routine. And that routine they feel good about and bad about, and good about and bad about. But no matter what they feel about it, they're exhausted by the end of the day to have any time to themselves. You have to have time to yourself. To yourself, what does that mean? You're so exhausted and now you go to a salon for 2 hours to have time to yourself, where you on your phone watch Netflix, or you hear a podcast because now you think you will learn something from that podcast. That is not what I mean. See, this is also a podcast and I want you to listen to it, but I don't want you to, I would much rather have a person listen to one of our episodes and try that out in their life and have a life-changing experience because of it, rather than listening to every single episode and during a stressed out week.
Becoming like some sort of entertainment.
Yeah. So then you're doing even that as a routine, as a robot. You're doing everything as a robot. But you're a human being. You're alive. You are dynamic. What about all that, right? So who will respect the dynamism of being human? Of being a human being. Being. It's not a human being. It's not a human. It's a human being. So you will constantly be being different shapes, forms, ideas. And your ability to flow through all of these in a certain kind of smoothness is what will keep you vibrant, will keep you light. And in that lightness, you'll be happy only. There is nothing else in it. So a lot of people we know have such a heavy routine, and you know, the quantity of work they get done eventually, I don't think is that much also. But the routine feels heavy to them. And that heaviness sort of like densifies their vibration and their energies. They feel lethargy. They need to sleep more, but they can't sleep because they have excess exposure to the computer, or all of these problems that exist, that seemingly exist in the world, in your world, they exist because you are not just buoyant. You're not just up there with life. You are struggling down here, down there somewhere. And you think that somehow it will just change. And I'll tell you a truth. It can somehow just change. It can actually change tomorrow morning. But what happens, and I'll tell you why also it can change tomorrow morning and not this moment. But what happens is when that moment of change comes, you want to be safe again. You don't want a moment of uncertainty in your life. And in the lack of that uncertainty, you've not lived like that. You've lived a routine life. You were in fact proud of your routine life. If you are actually doing well compared to others on paper with your routine life, you're actually proud of it. Maybe you're making presentations and teaching other people how to live this routine life. So you are not comfortable with uncertainty. The moment you're in uncertainty, you run back to one of your old ways of being. How can you create a new result ever if you are doing the same input, if your input is the same? Didn't Einstein or somebody say, cannot expect different results if you put in the same data in and same process in?
Madman if you expect. I'm also paraphrasing, but something like you're a madman if you expect that you do the same things and you expect a different result.
Yeah. So you have to do things differently I'm not saying that the journey from despair to joy will always be filled with joy, because it cannot be. It is a journey from despair to joy. You cannot get from despair to joy in one swoop motion, unless you've become really good and trained at that. And you can't jump. If you're wall climbing, rock climbing, wall climbing, you can only go based on your skill level as high as you go. So this is also about skill level. But if you keep at it, am I saying consistency is key? Yes, but I am not saying it in the same way that it is said in this routine life. I'm saying consistency is key because you're getting something out of it, no? So keep at it. I'm contradicting myself when I said don't do something for them as means to an end. I'm saying that whatever you do in a state of flow will already put you in a higher state of emotion, and that in itself will become a motivation for you to keep aiming for a higher emotional state. And because most of your life has been lived in a different way, therefore consistency is key, because now you're learning a different rhythm of life. But this is your natural rhythm of life, the second one, flowing. So it will not take that much time. It will not feel unnatural once you allow and surrender to it. And once you become skilled at it, yes, you may be able to make the jump from despair to joy pretty quickly sometimes. When you wake up in the morning, which is what I said, right? It can restart tomorrow morning. When you wake up in the morning, you are basically a blank slate. You can write whatever code you want to write on top of that slate. But instead of sitting down and saying, what code do I want to write now? You say, oh, acha, drudgery. What codes are unfinished? Let me look at it. Let me be sad about it.
Yes, overwhelmed with the number of things that you've put.
You're overwhelmed by your own sob
life.
Story of your own life. There's nothing to be sad. You can be, do, or have anything you want. If there's no if to it, there's just a way of being that gets it, which is ease, which is effortlessness. Effortlessness requires a lot of effort. Like our yoga teacher talks about effortless breathing, and then we know both of us have done that exercise, and we know how much effort is required to keep oneself from turning it into an efforted breathing. That effort is required, but that effort is not required for long. It's required in the beginning. Again, like I said, consistency is key, is applicable to this side of intuition also, because आपने उस तरफ इतना भर्ती कर दिया है, because your practice of putting yourself down is so is so stubborn, you're so good at being hard on yourself. That is why you need practice to be easy on yourself. Otherwise, you don't need practice. Like a child does not need this practice. You need this practice to counter the harm that you've done to yourself.
Years
of self-abuse, basically. That's why you need constant reminders. That's why you need new tools and technologies. But it is not hard work once you get it. You getting there may be a little hard for you because of the resistance that you have in you. उसका कोई और उपाय नहीं है. उसका एक बहुत बड़ा उपाय है leap of faith, which again you cannot get there from there. Despair to joy is a huge journey to make. Somebody may be able to make it. I haven't made it like that. I don't know of anybody who's made it like that. I cannot deny the possibility though. But I can say for sure that you can relax a little right now, and you can definitely sleep tonight with the idea in your head that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to I'm going to freshly look at the slate of life, and I'm going to see what I write on it. then your journey begins tomorrow morning. There is nothing else. Like, spirituality does not mean, I did not go to any person for my spirituality. Spirituality does not mean, people to make business out of spirituality also. And then they start compare. Isn't there that Alan Watts song, speech that has been made into a song, spiritual but not religious, or something like that? My yoga teacher is better than your yoga teacher. My guru is better than your guru.
My meditation is deeper than your meditation.
How do you know whose meditation is deeper? You cannot know. Like, if three people are sitting together and meditating, actually, if everybody decides to plug in together and meditate, then we will go to the average depth of the meditation. You cannot tell. You cannot tell anything. Anyway, that's a side topic. The main point is, this comparison business must stop. All of the negative, all of the harm you're unleashing upon yourself, what I just called self-abuse a little while ago, it's coming from a place of comparison. It's coming from a place of needing to be better or worse than somebody else. It's not always better. Sometimes people are doing all the effort so that they can be worse than somebody, because they have decided that they want to create a story that life is unfair to them. Now, life will be unfair to them only if they are worse off than somebody else. All of it is happening so that you have to, because you want to keep a story alive in your head. Why are you doing this? Do not need to do this. Just play. In these Indian books, or at least by Krishna, I feel, Lord Krishna, life has been called a Leela. Leela means a divine play. So what are you going to do with a play? Are you going to get serious about a play? No, you enjoy it. You really, really can enjoy it. You can really savor everything. You can savor your sadness also. In the previous episode, or in the episode before that, sometime I talked about how I was struggling. I savored that also. I savored my crying through that also. You can do it. There's nothing wrong. You're going to have emotions. The play is going to have, it's a light and sound show. You can't say, I only want blue. It's an amalgamation of colors. It's vibrant. It's got music.
The same thing that we desire in our movies, which is the drama, is what we desire in our own lives, and we create it. And when we create it, that creation has to have a happy, a sad, a villain. All of these characters will be there. And
not necessarily. Again,
we will have all these characters.
No. See, sometimes analogies shouldn't be stretched.
No, so I'll finish it, then you criticize the analogy. What that is then, therefore, in our human experience, we will experience all of these emotions. We can't say, we do not have an existence where it will just be a steady, okay, here is your
it won't
joy.
Be steady.
You're just feeling joy. There is no existence in
that.
You're a rock.
Share that poem in this, that you had some place where they talked about different ways of having lived life. And in that, one of them was, what if you lived in chunks of being happy, chunks of looking for car keys, chunk of waiting in traffic, chunk of cooking. How boring would that be? Why I criticized your analogy was that you said that there will be a villain, there will be sadness. No. Not every movie will have a villain and sadness, and not every movie will have a hero also. And some movies will be fully horror, some movies will be fully romantic. What type, genre of movies yours will be, that is your decision. Maybe a romantic movie does not have a villain. So it doesn't have to have a villain. I don't like to create. See, we're trying to negate what it's not, no? So then I don't like to add ideas about what it is in people's mind, because it can be anything that you want.
I agree. The addition of, so the stretch of the analogy is the there must be
There must be something. There mustn't be anything.
I think the point I wanted to make is that there will be a variation of emotions.
Yeah, I
that will
understand
exist.
that. But if we're expressing some new ideas, we've got to be on point about not confusing, because we're already trying to like sort of find a little space in people's understanding and shoot an arrow through it which will like pass through and get them on the other side of the Rubicon, which is what my work is about. Our work is about actually now.
Cool.
Is it over?
I think that's a wrap.
This was interesting, but it didn't feel like 30 minutes.